What's up, Trojans? This was just an absolute terrible game by the Giants. And these games are just very difficult to analyze because everything went wrong. And I can't even give much credit to Dallas. Dallas played like an NFL team, while I have to turn around and wonder if the Giants could have beaten a high school team. Because the Giants really did it to themselves. A lot of fumbling. It was just the Giants not doing things correctly. The interceptions, the horrible special teams, that missed field goal. Like, a field goal should not be able to be blocked like that. Like, the Giants blocking Dallas defenders in this game was absolutely terrible. Like, just zero resistance blocking. At least, any of the metaphors you can come up with, there's some resistance there. Absolute zero resistance was given by the Giants in terms of blocking in this game. It was evident on the field goals, the few we even attempted, the few chances we had to get points in this game. And then the offensive line throughout the entire game, just terrible all around. And the worst part about it was the Giants started fairly well. The Giants were driving against Dallas. And I never like it when the Giants get the ball first. But, they were driving, and it looked like the Giants could put 7 on the board, and it looked like we'd have a game. That did not happen. There was a random penalty by Andrew Thomas, a false start. And then it just all fell apart. Everything fell apart. The Giants they got a blocked field goal, then they threw a pick 6 shortly thereafter. And it was just one thing after another of the Giants just messing up over and over and over and over again. And that pick 6, it wasn't even Daniel Jones' fault. Obviously, it's 2 interceptions for him, but it was just Saquon going to catch the ball badly. There were so many drops by wide receivers. There were so many bad decisions by Daniel Jones. He just threw a clear and obvious terrible interception later. And these are the games where you're looking for one guy. You're looking for something. Like, this thing was good. That did not exist. And obviously, good luck finding that in a 40-0 loss. Like, for a while in the game, because it was a pick 6 and a blocked field goal that was causing Dallas to score points, our defense looked okay. Our defense looked really good there for a while. And it gave me hope for all of the first quarter that things could get better. And then that hope just evaporates somewhere in there, especially when the defense started actually giving up points. Touchdown points. It's just like, all right, this is over. Like, put the backups in. Like, it's just not worth it. And the crazy thing about that is Daniel Jones was in almost the entire game. Like, even when the Giants are down, 33-0, Daniel Jones is still out there. And it was just like, why? At some point, it's why. Like, I really think the Giants wanted to build some small, minuscule bit of momentum going into next week against Arizona. And Arizona is a team the Giants should be. Dallas is a team that I felt like the Giants should be, but it was going to be tough in any scenario, right? Like, Dallas played like an NFL team tonight. And I expected Dallas to play like a good NFL team tonight. And I also expected the Giants to play like a good NFL team tonight. And I thought it would be a slugfest that the Giants could and should win. That was not the case at all. Now, Arizona next week is a game that the Giants absolutely should win. Because even after this, I don't know. I feel like this is a fluke. Like, it's just so bad that it has to be a fluke. Like, if the Giants were even to score a field goal next week, this would be a fluke in comparison to that. It's infinitely better. Because 3 times 0 would still be 0. So, getting any points on the board is infinitely better. Getting 3 points on the board would be amazing compared to this week. But I feel like the Giants should be able to beat Arizona next week. Arizona is not an amazing NFL team. They're not even considered good. The Giants should be able to beat them. And if the Giants don't beat Arizona next week, the season is practically over. All of a sudden, it becomes a must-win. If this game was close, and the Giants lost, it wouldn't feel like a must-win. It would be like, all right, there might be some small feeling back there, like a must-win. You don't want to have the opportunity to go down 0-3, but it wouldn't be this strong. If the Giants lose next week, playoffs, playoffs? We're just trying to win a game, all right? If the Giants lose next week, it's over. And it's going to come down to this team, the coaching and everything, because everything was off in this game. Everything. The execution, the coaching, I think, just everything. Name a thing, and the Giants did it wrong. So it's going to need a full 180 going into next week. And, one of the ways it can start would be with a good press conference from Brian Daboll. He needs to come out and not give any bad quotes like Joe Judge did in 2021 about how, the first week, it's really an extension of the preseason, to paraphrase. That was a very bad precedent for the entire season. And yeah, at one point in that season, the Giants were 4-7 and really only fell off the map to 4-13 because Daniel Jones got hurt. But the awful coaching didn't help. So Brian Daboll needs to come out and just not say anything bad. And this brings me back to a video I made. It didn't do that great, but I made it a while ago, and I made a video about how I really thought this team would be different. I thought the 2023 Giants would be wildly different from the 2017, 2019, 2021, the 2021 New York Giants, because all three of those other teams I named, they were both coming off of first-year head coaches, that had rookie years of being a head coach. That you could, not like rookie, but like Giants head coach rookie years, that you could look to and be like, all right, there's something here. Good things happen here. Like McAdoo made the playoffs. I mean, yeah, he lost horribly immediately, but he made the playoffs. Then you had Pat Shurmur, whose team, they didn't do great the entire year, but they didn't do bad. They were in every game, it felt like. And then you had Joe Judge, who very close to making the playoffs in 2020. But then you go to their next year. 3-13 from the Giants by McAdoo. The entire team gave up. You go to Pat Shurmur in 2019. 4-12. Awful play calling. Awful time management. He had to go. Then you go Joe Judge 2020-21. Again, the team just gave up. That rant by Joe Judge. He fired himself at that point. Absolutely terrible. The Giants can't afford to have that happen again. All right, we have a new GM now, and things need to change. So, Brian Daboll just needs to come out, and it needs to be just, bad things happen. And if anyone says, like, hey, what happened on this play? The words, I gotta go look at the tape, cannot be uttered. Nothing about the tape can be uttered. It just has to be, it was bad. I think this was happening. That's what needs to be said. I think he was throwing to, a wide receiver. Which one? Who knows? But I think he was throwing to a wide receiver, not the Dallas defender. Yeah, I think the goal on that play was actually to gain yards, not lose them. Those would seem like profound comments compared to, I gotta look at the tape. Because later in the week, no one comes back. That same reporter doesn't come back and say, hey, 2 days ago, I asked you this question. And you said you had to go look at the tape. So, I'm assuming you looked at the tape now. Could you answer my question? That never happens. So, just anything other than I gotta look at the tape would feel very profound. And this start does have those horrible second-year head coach vibes. And I really don't like it. I really just want the Giants. They got to turn this around. Like, how hilarious would it be if the Giants end up with a winning record, and then you just go back to week 1, and it's like, 40-0. That was funny, right? Like, bad things can become funny if it turns around. And I hope that's the case. I really do. It doesn't look like it right now. It doesn't look like it at all, but I hope that's the case because, unfortunately, this is having some shocking second-year Giants head coach vibes right now, and I do not like the feel of it. If the Giants can just turn around with a win week 1 against Arizona, everything will be happy. Everything will be fine. Or week 1, sheesh. Yeah, the real week 1, right? Just this game didn't even happen. Next week's actually the real week 1. If we can turn it around week 2 against Arizona, everything will be fine. It'll be all good. We'll be like, all right, very interested to see how this team plays against the 49ers. And I would be very interested at that point. The Giants can't afford to just mess this up. The Giants got to figure something out going into Arizona. Things need to change in a big way. Maybe, I don't know, rotate some guards, rotate a corner, do what you gotta do. Because the secondary stood out being bad, which I thought that would be the case, but it stood out. Hawkins had some very bad penalties. And the guards, the entire offensive line, really, like, I don't even give an excuse to Andrew Thomas. He wasn't great either. Yeah, it was bad, but rotate some guards, move some people around. You got to figure something out. You can't do worse than 40-0. As I said before, any points is infinitely better than 0 points. All right, I'll just keep this one short. I hope next week's better. See you guys in the next one. That I hope is way better. It has to be.